Abend, good morning, goede avond, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to all of you and to this exclusive live webinar on gender balance promoting women. So in this 5-week Certificate BeNext program that is starting on July 12th, the spotlight will be on all aspects of how can we plan a gender-sensitive response to hybrid workplaces, and how do we acknowledge the difficulties and barriers challenging women in the new world of work, and also how to create opportunities and initiative to increase women's participation. Obviously, we hope you will all join us in this discussion on barriers to get gender equality in the workplace and how the landscape has changed drastically in a post-COVID, during COVID world. Now, the format of today's live webcast will be a Q&A conversation, and we will be taking questions from the audience as well, if time permits. So feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know during this session which questions you want to ask. My lovely colleagues behind the scene will keep an eye on the chat, as I won't be able to see it, but they're rock stars, so I have no doubt this will be a smooth ride. Our guest speaker for today will dive into the do's and don'ts of accelerating gender balance and also share what topics we will be discussing in the upcoming program that's starting July 12th, like I said. So let's not waste any more time, jump right into the introduction. Our speaker for today is Maria Teixidor. Maria is an entrepreneur and lawyer who has developed her career in the field of cultural advising businesses, foundations, associations, and technology startups. She is the CEO of VUCA Solutions. She is the first woman in the history of FC Barcelona to have held the position of Secretary of the Board of Directors, and one of the 13 women only in the history of the club who have reached its top management. In addition, she has been a sports director of the women's football section of Football Club Barcelona. Maria, bienvenida, welcome. It's so wonderful to have you with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining. Are you ready for some questions, Maria?
Well, I think so, yeah.
Okay, let's do this.
Let's start.
So yeah, let's start with one of the questions that I personally had. So what was it like to be the first ever female secretary of the board of directors for FC Barcelona? Did you face a lot of biases toward the soccer part because you're a woman?
Well, I think it has been a honor, a true privilege, and also a huge responsibility for me. So I don't know if everyone knows, but FC Barcelona is an association. So it's a club that is owned by all its members, and we run elections every 6 years to elect the board of directors. So I took this responsibility with the wish and the goal to make changes in the organization. Because, as you said, this is a club that has 122 years of history, and only 13 women have reached the board in all this length of all this period of time. And I think that we need to see more women in power, and we need to show that we can be there at the same level as men, because we also love sports, we also love football, and it's not true that we don't know about this side of life. We enjoy the game, and I think that we have lots of things to bring into the conversation.
Absolutely, totally agree. And I think the audience would also probably like to know, how did you do it? How did you manage to get a job with a company that has a history of only 13 women in top management in an industry that's unfortunately still seen by many as an overall male environment?
Well, first, it is not a job, so it is an unpaid position, because, as I said, it is an association, and these roles, or this kind of role, are not paid. And as I said, you have to run an election before becoming a member of the board. So it's like a political side of the story. And I got there because I got involved. And I think that this is a lesson that we can all learn about this. It's about saying yes at some point in your career or in your life when things are happening. And before I joined this President Bartomeu team, and run for the elections. In the previous elections, I had been helping him with his other adventures when he became a member of the board, so before he was a president. So it's about getting connections. That's a lot about networking that we'll be talking about, and setting goals in your career, and of course answering yes when you're asked about, do you want to join us? But this time not to help, but to become a member of the board. And well, it's sometimes scary because it's like, wow, this is a very big position. But then you see it as an opportunity. First, Barça is the team I love. I have grown up just following this team and cheering it up and going to the stadium. So being a part of the decision makers at this institution was a huge opportunity. And the other thing is that the program that the candidacy had involved one very important point for me, which was the professionalization of the women's team. So being there to be a part of this moment, of this movement, and helping things change was a challenge. So I got there, I think that because I had not fear of saying yes at the moment when I was asked to join.
Yeah, you grabbed the opportunity when it presented itself. I think that itself is one of the best tips we can give anyone, women and men,
yes.
all over. Okay, so then next question. You've been the CEO for VUCA Solutions for 10 years now. The program is aligned specifically, the BeNext program, to effective leadership in a VUCA world and how women in leadership positions can best respond to these conditions. Did you see a particular shift in the VUCA world if you look at pre and current or post-pandemic? Because we want to say post-pandemic, but we're not really there yet.
No, we don't know where we are, and I think that's a part of the VUCA world thing, and one of the lessons we have to just learn. And I think that we all have seen that acceleration of changes has grown a lot in this COVID world, and we have seen the big potential of collaboration. So I think that what they now call the co-petition. So it's, yes, we are all competing against each other, but we need to collaborate in some things to get things done. And vaccines are a proof of this, how we can make things better and how we can really get results in a very short period of time when we all bring the best of us together. So both the public, the private sectors, and all people. So sharing information to get things done. Besides, I think that a good thing that this has brought is, in terms of accelerating, it's the digitalization of enterprises and companies. Everyone is now going digital, and even small companies are joining these movements. We are all being able to work remotely and not forced to travel so much for work. And we have this we are learning how to cope with this reality in various ways that are making our life easier. Besides, there's the risk linked to all this. It's that we may be leaving people behind, or that we may not be helping everyone to get into this same page. And I think that what we need now is to understand that learning is a journey, and learning is something that we'll be doing throughout our life. So we're not in that world where you studied a program at university, start working, and that was all you learned by doing it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So we need programs like the ones we are now in with this BeNext set of programs that are helping us to understand each point of this new road that we are all walking and building at the same time. So I think that we are now conscious that we are part of the solution, because we are all helping to build this pre-post pandemic
Yeah,
world we live in.
I think the building is a good one, because I think all of us, I read somewhere that we probably sped up 25 years when it comes to how far we are in a, remote or hybrid situation, but we're not there yet. And
No,
I think that's the importance. We need to keep building, keep learning, and absolutely.
exactly.
Okay, so in the program we have segments devoted to developing the right attitude and the right mindset and negotiation. And you already briefly touched upon it earlier. Negotiation is a huge part of this. The like feeling confident to ask for what you need and want at work. And we'll go deeper into this during the program, obviously. But how important do you think personally it is for women to work on their negotiation skills?
A lot. I think that we may not be conscious of this, but there are studies, and I remember a book called Ask for It by some American professors that had made this calculation of how much a woman lost in earnings by not asking raises in her salary throughout her career, as opposed to men who always negotiate what they are paid for their jobs. And it was interesting because if you make this projection from the first day you're working and to the last day when you retire, and how much you have been able to save for that period of your life, the difference was enormous. And it has to do about the fact, and I think that all these are cultural effects. So when we live, we have been told as women that we didn't have to ask, so we just need to say thank you. And this has to change. I mean, we need to be aware of what we are worth, and then we need to ask for the things we need in the professional side of our lives, so in the organizational context. And it's not about us against them, so men against women, or us asking and them not. It's about all of us deserving the same treatment. And it for women it takes a learning, so it takes the need to understand how this is done. So how do you really negotiate? And I think that one of the points that is linked to that is how we use information. So it's about preparing ourselves for negotiation, making our benchmarks about what is happening outside the organization, and setting plans and organizing these negotiations to really get the results we want.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember, and that was years ago when I read an article that said usually, and not that obviously doesn't go for everyone, but usually women stop negotiations when they hear no, and men start their negotiations when they hear no, and that always stuck with me because
That's a good
if
one.
we hear no, I want a salary increase, and someone says no, you can't have it. Women tend to say, okay, well, if it's not possible, then it's not possible, and men start their negotiation after the
Exactly.
no. There's a brilliant TED talk, but I forgot who's by. That's it says it. I think it's called "Asking Your Worth," especially also for women who need to just ask for what they're worth.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks, Maria. Okay, in section 3 of the program, we have a chapter on how to appear as a leader. How important do you think branding and networking, that you also briefly touched upon earlier, is for women? And what are some of the barriers that women face when it comes to networking? What do we do wrong?
Well, I think that we are used to some sort of networking, but not in the professional side as much as men are used to it. And in terms of networking, I think that what lacks is the opportunity to be invited to the right places for the good networking. So that's one of the points. So much of the networking that matters for the progress in your career is made outside the office and in places where women are not invited. So that's one of the points we need to be aware of, and we need to build our own networking spaces and nets, so that we really share the information that matters there, and we help each other and this is about sisterhood also. We help each other to really go up the ladder of success, if you want to call it like that, or grab the opportunities, as we said previously, and get where we want to go. So of course, family.
Sorry,
Yeah,
can I interrupt? Do you mean if you're not
sure.
invited to the party, have your own party? Create your
Yeah,
own?
that's something we need to build. If we're not there, we need to build the structures where we're going to be heard and where we're going to be able to share information with the people that has it, because you are not able to apply for a job if you don't know that that job is going to be offered soon. And sometimes it's all about that, getting the right time to get prepared for that interview or for that opportunity. And this happens in these informal ways of sharing information that networks are. So yes, I do firmly believe that we as women also have to share information between us, and we have to create these places and spaces where we are able to talk to each other in a relaxed way, with a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, and have this opportunity to learn more about what is happening outside my world, or the world I know, and that can become an opportunity not only for changing jobs, but also for creating collaborations between companies and shared projects with other professionals. So this is important also, not only for people, for women or men. It's also important for companies, because they are building possibilities from that networking. And you asked about the barriers. I also think that shared responsibilities at home would help women to have time to attend those meetings that are sometimes in between, that space between, when you leave the office and you have dinner. And sometimes this is a period of time that women need to take care of their kids or families or elder people, and so we need to build a shared world everywhere. So I think that it starts both at home and at the office also. Cindy, are you hearing me?
Yep. Sorry.
Okay, good.
I pressed the wrong button. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
So I had a question coming in from the audience already. So networking can be challenging when people are not genuine. How can you overcome this obstacle? Is the question.
That's a hard
tough one. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tough one.
I'm not sure I have the answer, because that's a very personal thing, being genuine or not. And I think that at the end, you need to develop this social intelligence about who do you want to become involved with. But I think that authenticity is something that shines, and it's quite visible from the outside. So I do believe that if you sort of have the opportunity to learn about the people that is around you in a more profound way. So that's why networking is also important, because if I know about your interests, if I know about the things that you do when you are on your own, if I know that besides your work, you love as a hobby to paint, make some music, play music, sing, whatever, I can understand more about what you bring to life, and I can build upon that, and I can find other ways to approach you as a person. So
Yeah,
I
you have a
think that,
clearer picture of
yeah,
something.
and it's about opening yourself to the world, and then seeing what the world can bring to that possibility. So being genuine is something that I think that is also about, taking out all of these barriers that you sometimes self-impose to look like the perfect, I don't know, executive or board member or whatever. And maybe one of the tasks that we have socially as human beings is to change that feeling of what an executive looks like, and not being, actors of this part of the life, but really, acting as imposing a role on us, but being what we want to be, because there's a lot of this empathy and other things that confirm us as persons that we can bring into the workplace and that can add to value to what we deliver.
Yeah. And I would add to that being genuine, you can only do that for yourself. So as long as you're genuine, then if the other
Yeah,
person's not, there's nothing you're going to be able to do about that. You can only change things about you.
exactly.
Okay. Now you will also be one of the speakers during our master class, of course, but can you give us a little taste of what your advice would be for women who are aspiring leadership and aren't quite there yet?
I think we have gone through a lot of the things that, or the tips that I would give in this conversation. But of course, there's preparation, there's learning, there's studying, there's getting what you think that you lack of for this kind of positions, if you have this feeling and if you really need it. And then setting goals about what you want to reach and when you want to reach it, because you need a plan. You always need a plan to know, well, I'll be doing this, I'll be trying, and do not postpone these moments about growing professionionally and taking a step forward. I think that saying yes, even if you think you're not ready enough, is the only thing that lags, and that you're missing sometimes when you don't progress, because there's this study saying that we women only apply for a job or a position when we feel that we fulfill 100% of the requisites in this position, and men do it so even if they only accomplish 60% of what's required. So in between that, there's a lot of possibilities, and of course, putting yourself in a situation which is not like, absolutely comfortable, because you know 100% of what you should be doing there. It's also sometimes what you need to really improve and to really learn and to really bring what you can bring to this position. So I would say that we need to dare. And the other thing is and it's related to the networking thing we were talking about before. Alliances. We need alliances with both men and women that we know care as we do for this new normal and this new building of organizations and relationship, to really provide opportunities for these genuine people that we find along the way, and that we think that need to have these leadership positions also with us. So whenever you have this feeling that you want to show the way or have this guidance position in an organization, go for it, because I think that the world at some points or levels lacks some of this leadership, and it's about just showing yourself as a person that can have this vision and that can build for everyone.
Yep. Dare to say yes. I'm just going to grab it together. Dare to say yes, feel confident, set your goals, get alliances, and jump at the opportunity if it presents itself. Obviously.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, we got lots of questions coming in. Keep them coming, guys. I'm going to go over as many as possible. One of the questions, let me go to my last question first, or second to last. In the program, we touch on how skills like assertiveness are traditionally seen as more male, while qualities like empathy and listening are more associated still with women. So why do you think this is still the case, and how can we actually use these skills to our advantage? Because I'm pretty sure there's an advantage in there.
Sure. Well, all this is cultural. So what we need to do, in fact, is a very difficult thing, is change culturally our organizations. And I think that the fact of start showing that maybe assertiveness is not only a male thing, it's also a women's condition, or that empathy helps us to understand, collaborate, and build better solutions. And so it all comes back to storytelling about success and what brings this success. And I think that we all have seen that maybe the way we have been doing things in the last decades has not brought the best results for society as a whole, or for the world as a whole. And we are now looking for different solutions, and we are now looking for diversity, and we are now looking for all these qualities that maybe we had better associated with women, and maybe women have been working more in detail. But I think that we need to show that these qualities are both in men and women, so they are not exclusive of a sex or a gender or a person, and that we can all learn from them because they are bringing us better results in whatever we do.
Brilliant
So
advice.
cultural change.
Absolutely. And which is one of the hardest things, obviously, but yeah, good
Yeah.
advice. Okay, we got some questions from the audience. I'll start with the first one. What can we do to overcome the disproportionate impact of COVID-19 on women in the workplace? I've read research on that. That's huge compared to men,
Yeah.
the impact that it had on women.
Yes, I think that this is a very compelling problem that asks an answer from everyone. So both the states or public services, and both companies that need to understand that they have this social responsibility beyond what they do. So we are now talking about even, this impact investment. So companies now need to also show that they don't only bring economic profits to their shareholders, but they bring good results or positive impact into the societies where they are, where they impact, where they work in. So there's a lot of work to do, and I guess it will not be easy. And one of the fears that we all have worldwide or globally is that COVID-19 could mean going some steps backwards in what women have reached in the last decades. I think that first thing is we need to be conscious about this. We need to be conscious that this is a problem, that this is affecting women. And probably women that are executives in organizations do not face the same problems that women with less education and less good perspectives on their work development. So I think we need to provide for everyone, and we need to provide in our executive positions and roles this leadership that shows that we will not accept leaving women behind, and we need organizations that are conscious and that help in what we were saying. So the family and work balance, correct wages that will allow these women to provide for their families and their children. And so any program that can help these women dedicate their time both to family and work are welcome. And showing women in positions of power and in leadership positions will also be these role models that women and girls need to really understand that they can work towards that, and that they can grow into what they want to become. So yes, a lot of work to do from everyone around. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think where we took a big leap forward with the whole hybrid going so fast, or remote going so fast, and we did something in a year that would have taken us 25 years, but we probably went back in time, like you said, with a lot of the female functions. So a lot of work to do there. Absolutely. All right, next question. Women find it difficult to attend late night parties sometimes. Also, women find it tougher to network with men. Any suggestions on that? Or does that come back to the confidence in well, not the late night
No,
parties,
no,
obviously not, but
late night parties. I think that one thing we also need to learn is maybe we don't need to be there until that late hour. So maybe you can attend the party and just leave at the right time, which is also a good thing to do. Well, attending late night parties. I live in a country in Spain where late night parties are really late. So
yeah,
sometimes,
seriously late.
seriously late. We have dinner sometimes at 10 and start our party at 12 in the night. So which means that you really have a difficulty in waking up early the day afterwards. So it's managing all that is not, it's not always easy. But we said before that maybe women need to build our own networks and bring men there into those conversations, and we can maybe start telling them that things can happen at other times in the day. So I've been attending lots of breakfast, which are great times to also, have a relaxing moment before the day starts, where you can share connections, information, and knowledge. Or lunchtime, which in Spain is also a big break. We have these long 2 hours, and it is like this at some point in some countries in the world. It's another moment where you can profit from the fact that kids are still at school and you maybe don't need that time to be at home, and then make these events in the lunchtime, or even earlier in the afternoon. So yes, it's sometimes hard, but it comes to also involving your family or your partner in life into this joint project about, this night it's my time to go to that late party because it is an opportunity, and then it will be the other way around on the day afterwards.
Yeah, that's good advice. And to the how women sometimes find it tougher to network with men.
Yeah, that's true, and I think that it all comes to this cultural point where we have lived in separate worlds for so long that it sometimes is tough. But I think that in this kind of networking, you need your allies. So if it is hard for you to do that, I would do this with some allies, like find that man that really is a nice a guy at parties, that knows how to do introductions, that can help at some difficult moments, and ask him to just be with you and introduce you to someone, or come and get you if he sees that you're, at a difficult point in a conversation. And it works with men and women, and that's why I said before that you need to prepare for all these events. It's not, don't put yourself into tough situations without a plan for escaping
having a
those
plan. Yes.
those situations. And there are a lot of good allies there, both men and women, that can help you in these moments, and you have to ask for it before you go and explain
Yeah.
what your feelings are. Yeah.
Come prepared. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Great advice.
always.
Okay, next one. What's your advice to those men who confuse initiatives to gain equality with oppressions of men? Ooh.
Well, that's how things have been seen for a long time. And
Mhm.
that's why we need a new narrative, and we need a new storytelling. And so I think that this is not about women against men. It has not all been, at any point, not from my side at least, but about seeing that you cannot leave half of the population out of the conversation. We need to build a world where everyone fits in, and diversity is diversity in all of its conditions. So it's the same about saying, yes, we are going to get young people into the organization, but that's not against old people in the organization, but just to make a balance between new ideas coming from new generations and all the knowledge that the old generations still have, and we appreciate, and we're not making a big issue of that, or are we also? So it's about
I like that.
understanding that,
We can just compare it to age difference, which doesn't
yeah,
mean the
yeah.
one is better than the other. Yeah.
And all this sums up and adds to diversity. And we could go for all other differences in between people. We don't want organizations that only see the world from a single viewpoint. So to do that, the only way is to add different persons around, and if we are generous enough to see the positive of all that, then we'll be seeing this as a joint battle, if we want to call it like that, or a joint project of all the members of an organization. Yeah.
Yep. Just look at the opportunities and at the, yeah,
Hmm.
good one. Okay, the next one let me see. In this era of virtual connections, what are a few precautions women need to specially take regarding the
Um,
virtual connections? Are,
well,
are we are we more at risk because it's virtual? Not sure.
um, I'm not sure about that, and I think that the virtual world also reproduces part of the good and bad things that are in the analogical world. But the precautions would be the same. I think that one of the bigger risks is to become a bit isolated when we are working remotely, and things that we have lost are those coffee breaks and those moments where we can sort of relax ourselves a bit and gather some of this informal information that always navigates the workplace. So there needs to be an effort also done in this relationship building remotely. So if you're working from home and not going to the office for whatever reason, and some companies are now going to these 2 days, depending on what. But some are forced to, because of restrictions, go back to remote work. Is also plan your coffee breaks with some of your colleagues, so that you can have one of these conversations that usually happened in these lost moments, or in the office, in the corridors, and just reproduce this virtually, and reach that people whom you have not been in contact with for a long time, to just ask how they are, and how are things going, because you can start conversation that will teach you, or bring information what's going on in the company. This can be one of the things that we women do less in these moments, because we sort of divide our time with work at home, and the kids, and we just, well, this will be the work time. But I think that we need to be aware of the fact that we need some of this time to be focused on the contact with our peers.
Yep, absolutely agree. In one of our other programs, we talk about the two. It's called planned spontaneity, and which means like the first time it's going to feel a little bit weird because
Yeah,
you know
it's
we're going to plan
strange.
to
It's
be
strange. Yeah,
spontaneous together, but it works. It works. It absolutely
it
works.
does. Yes.
Okay, so what is your advice about toxic female rivalry in the workplace? Because obviously it's not just sometimes men that feel, why do we need more women, but other women that might feel, hey, why do we need more women? Am I
Yeah,
not
yeah,
enough?
that's true. That's another tough one.
Yeah, we're not getting the easy questions today,
No,
are we?
no. I thought that this was July, summer, some relaxed
Everybody's
chat. No,
relaxed.
just joking. But yes, first thing is to identify those women, and it's like that there will be both men and women that will be toxic or difficult and not helping in this world of work. And I think that once you have identified those people, it's about building the right connections to really see if there's an opportunity to get your goals from other points, or from other managers, or from other leaders in the organization. And if not, then and if this is a stopper for your goals, personal and professional, personal goals in your organization, maybe if this rivalry is too big, then it's your time to leave the organization and try other places. Because if the culture is a stopper, then that can be a problem for bigger things that you want to achieve in this organization. So I think that it has to do with also the fact that if the organization sees that that's a risk about losing talent, then maybe the whole group will be forced to just show this person that rivalry is not the way. So everyone has to learn a bit in this journey. But of course,
Yeah, because toxic can never be good. Toxic doesn't sound good. That can never be a positive word.
No.
Okay, next question. Work-life balance has always been a concern for more women than men. What is your opinion on that perspective? Has it really, and do we do that ourselves? Is that something that we bring upon? Because I know I do sometimes. I sometimes complain that that my husband is not doing enough. But on the other hand, I'm like, no, let me do that because I know better how to do that.
Yes, these are points. We also need to be generous in this field and bring them into this work and at home and that allows and provides for this balance. Again, I go back to culture. I will share a personal story here. I worked in a big law firm and I needed to check some of my files as a lawyer with a colleague, a man colleague. That Friday morning was not at the office, and I thought, well, maybe it comes that he's at the court and will be back at some point. And I just went to his secretary and asked what time was he coming back, and she looked at me sort of strange and said, well, don't you know it? And I said, well, what? It's like, she said, it's Friday morning. And I said, yes, sure. And she said, well, it's golf day today. So and I said, well, what does it mean, golf day? It's like, well, then I discovered then that senior lawyers, male, and young lawyers, male, went to play golf on Friday morning. So work-life balance has, and it has to do also with the networking and all these things that we've been talking about during this talk. They somehow have inserted this into their professional life without a problem, and that's cultural. So that
How
was
do
a
they?
moment of
I want a golf morning. Not necessarily to play golf, but yeah.
exactly. So it's about why don't we have this conversation of what is a balance that, because of course golf is seen as something that is bringing profits into the workplace, because otherwise they would not be doing it. So it allows you to practice a sport that you can then play with your clients, and it allows you for informal conversation within people in your organization that may not be in your team, so that is going to share with you information from other parts of the organization that will allow you to better build your career within it. I thought that was weird, and I'm talking about 15 years ago. So this sort of tells you about how how life has been built in this professional world, respecting some of the balances that are needed, but not others. And as I said, equality begins at home, sharing our duties with our partner, and from that point, doing the same in all aspects of our life. Yeah.
Brilliant. Good advice. Thank you. Okay, I have two more questions before my final question. How can women look beyond their feelings if things don't go as planned and build emotional resilience?
Again, sisterhood and alliances. We have
Yeah.
been there before as women, and we need to share this with younger women. So mentoring is a good thing to ask for. We need to go and ask for advice in these hard moments, and sometimes The fact of talking about this feeling that we have will help us to overcome it, and will help us to gain knowledge about things that can be done to overcome these moments. So we if you really set these as a career that has goals, that has a plan, that has a period of time, and you just manage to get the good lesson from every time that things don't go as planned, just focus on what can I do best for next time, and these objective things that would have been my mistakes or would have been things that were not under my control, and can I do something next time to really prepare better for that moment. So I always go back to the same things, don't I? But it's about preparation for all these things and building these alliances and relationships that will help you overcome those moments.
Brilliant. Okay, and I really love this last question. How do you know if a man at work is gaslighting you, or is he a true ally?
Lots of psychology to to study for the next session that we have, I think. But I think that the truth in life is built of many stories. So the more you can know about a person from different ones will show you if this is a genuine person or someone that has already played these games with people before you. So we are social humans, and we need to build. All humanity has been about telling stories, and we tell stories to each other to just show the others the way, and to show others how we have been building life and how we have faced problems, and that's what all is about. So we need to embrace that. Our story matters, the story of our peers matters, and sharing all these matters, because what we are telling each other is this is the world we live in. These are the dangers that are in this world we live in. And these are the superpowers that we as human beings have to overcome those. And so lots of things can happen in between personal connections, which are good, which are bad, which will happen in a connection with someone, but not with another person, because we are different with different people. But what really works is about socially building knowledge about us, and as much knowledge as we can, so that we can act with as much information as possible, and this will help you build your own story that you will be able to tell other people, to also help them to overcome those moments.
Yep. And they can learn from your stories again. Brilliant.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go to my last question for you. Why is it so important to create gender balance? It's a very easy question. To create gender balance in the current time and place, and why should everyone here join the Gender Balance Promoting Women session with BeNext, or program with BeNext, I should say?
Why is it important? I think we said it, and we are saying it. It is important because I think that we as humanity are in a shift moment, and the opportunity is here for us to play our part in building the world we want to live in. And obviously targets our own responsibility as human beings and part of a collective thing that is called society, humanity, the world. It's why now, and why me. It's because if it's not now, then when will it happen? And our time in earth will have passed, and we will not have done it, and that would be a pity. So play your part now, because that's the moment we have been given to make a difference into our lives and the lives of the ones around us. And why you? Because same thing, and that comes from a question that Emma Watson asked to the UN when delivering a speech, is if not you, then who is going to do it? Who is going to really see that there's an opportunity to build something better, and who will do it? So if you're in a position where you can manage change and do change, then go for it. And come to the BeNext programs, because they are easy ways to learn in a constructive and positive way towards those objectives, with lots of tips that will help you understand what your situation is right now, and which are the things you need to do and create to really make your workplace the one you want, and the one that will be better for all the talent to flourish and give very good results for all of you.
Brilliant. Thank you. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much, Maria, for joining us for this great conversation. I can't wait to hear more from you during the masterclass. We have some amazing questions prepared for that as well. All right, that was it for today, everyone. Now, if you like this session, you will definitely like the full program that starts on July 12th, because there's a lot more where this came from. And we know we can give you the tools and the insight to create more gender balance in your organization and rethink ways to promote women in business. I do apologize if there were any questions that I missed. We will keep the questions and add them in one of our live sessions during the program. Like I said, Maria will also be one of the lighthouse keepers and panelists during the masterclass, together with Elena Tipalova, Thomas Fleer, Ewa Wedlock, and we have Parineta Lakra, if I pronounced that correctly, as our guest speaker for the Power Hour session. So please reach out to us if you have any questions, or if you want to sign up for the program, which will go into a lot more detail than we're having time for now. So I think one of my dear colleagues will put the link to sign up to the program in the chat. Is that correct, ladies? I'll probably get a thumbs up somewhere. We hope you will go on the journey with us. Absolutely. Thank you so much, ladies. We hope you will go on the journey with us, and we'll see you soon. Stay safe. Thanks to my people behind the scenes for helping me. Stay safe, stay healthy, be kind to one another, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much, Maria.
Yeah.